Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Barber and I am with the Danville Chess Club, and this video will be covering the overall layout of a chessboard. And as you can see, I am flying by one right now. I have used ShareFactory on the PlayStation 4 and Disney Infinity 3.0 to make this, so a shout out to both of them. And we will be getting started here very shortly. The basic idea here is to know how the board is set up, because believe it or not, that is something that has to be consistent. Essentially, as you can see it here, the board needs to be laid out with a light square, a white square, at your lower right hand corner, no matter what color you're playing. We're going to treat the closest side here as the white side, and we will treat the further side as the black side. But as you can tell, if you are white facing the board from this perspective, the lower right hand corner will be white, and if you are black facing from the opposite perspective, the same thing will be true. This is necessary so that the board itself is always uniform, and when we record moves, the people playing the moves back, whether it's ourselves in 6 months or posterity in 100 years if you become a grandmaster, will know exactly how the board was set up, exactly where every piece started, and have an exact concept of the orientation, so that when they play the game, they will play it accurately. This is particularly important for the king and queen and how they are set up, because the queen will be set on her own color and the king will be on his opposite. So if you lay the board out incorrectly with the lower right hand square as a dark instead of a light square, then you end up with the queen to the right of the king instead of to the left of the king, and that becomes a problem. Additionally, we have a tip here, and that tip is light on right. It's just a little saying that gives us a little rule of thumb that allows us to have a better idea of how the board is laid out. So just remember, when you're laying the board out, it's light on right. So let's get a closer look. And the board is laid out in rows and columns. So here you have the light on right. This is a light square at the lower right hand corner. I even put a little light right next to it so you can see. Additionally, if we come over here to the upper right hand corner, if you're facing it from black side, that's their lower right hand. That is also light on right. So back to the basic idea. The board has 64 total squares laid out in rows and columns. Obviously you can block the squares in groups of 4 or 9 or whatever and have more squares than 64, but the 1 by 1 squares are 64 of them. And this right here, the lower left hand corner, is A1. So we have ranks, and these are the rows. So that's rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. We're here at rank 4 now. And you see as we pass through the center, rank 5, rank 6, rank 7, and rank 8. So the rows, the horizontal rows, are called ranks, and they move horizontally across. Then we have the vertical columns, which are files. The columns are A, this is now B, C, this is the D file, the E file, the home of the kings, the F file, the G file, and the H file. So the files, being the vertical columns, are labeled across the x-axis horizontally, and the ranks are labeled across the y-axis vertically. So as you can see here, we have again A1, okay, and this is A8. I'll come back here. So we now have A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, F1, G1, and H1. This gives a unique name to every square. These are the center squares. So right here you have E4, D4, D5, and E5. In future lessons, you'll hear a lot about controlling the center. That's these 4 squares. They are critically important to controlling the flow of the game because every piece, with the exception of the rooks, is at its strongest in these 4 squares. And you have the most flexibility working from these 4 squares. So especially in opening theory, you will hear other people talk about controlling the center of the board, or controlling the center. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this, and as much as listening to it as much as I did making it, and please leave comments below. Have a great day.